sort of on some coffee, and I might have the odd sugar-free biscuit with that. So, but anyway, no doubt we'll give that a miss this morning. I will go and ask the kitchen person if where's the toast and marmalade. Hi, but I might not get the answer I want. Okay, on all your comments on the kitchen, by the way. Yes, well, we have thought about doing that, and well, I think the carcasses are actually quite reasonable, but Barbara, I think, wants some changes. So anyway, we're going to see this chap, and he's going to have done some visuals of of what he's sort of suggested. So it'd be nice to go and have a look and see what it looks like. And we're certainly going to have a new sync unit. With a new mixer tap on it, because that's becoming water drips out of it where it shouldn't do, and I can't get the thing apart to change the O-rings. I've never seen one of these that didn't have a grub screw you couldn't take out and take it apart and renew the O-ring, but I can't find it. I've even been known to ream the inside of it out to make it smoother again. So anyway, well, we'll go and see, but I think we might be in for the big one. I'm still not certain about it. With my it's quite a large garden here, and it's on a slope. From the conservatory to the end of the garden, something like 70 metres. So it's quite a lot to look after. And when I push the mower up and down that for a couple of hours, it's as much as I want to do. I'd like to think I can continue to do that for another 10 years, but I'm not sure. Things are falling apart, joints are becoming more and more painful, and all the rest of it. So I think we've got to look at reality. So I'm sort of looking at that and spending the money. And how much do I really want to, or do I want to save it for for where we go to, either for the purchase price or for renovations there. Perhaps it won't be quite as new and modern as this. I'm also noticing that I need to get the paintbrush out and repaint the outside of this, but been thinking about doing that for a while, so that's probably a job that's going to happen in the better weather a bit later on. W3EDP, yes, that's fine, Bob. No, well, that's interesting that the counterpoise is vertical. All of these things are going to have an influence of some sort of type on it, aren't they? And of course, what I do is I've got a 4mm banana plug on the end of the 84 foot of wire, and that just goes into the antenna port on a matching unit, and as does the counterpoise, just goes onto the earth clamp on the matching unit. And then when I was at Barbara's sister's, I couldn't get. I had the matching unit on the windowsill at about 10 foot of 50 ohm coax to the rig, which is what was on her desk. I always bring the W3EDP in directly into the matching unit, and so you do effectively, get the match that they suggest. But there we are. Not that there's a roller coaster in the matching unit I use, but it always seems to work very well. It can be a bit peaky at times. Okay, on the dipole, Willie. Well, we really compare everything against the dipole, don't we? And I don't think anything's, that is the aerial, and everything else is a compromise against it. I mean, the advantage of a G5RV is that if you can only get one aerial up, you can get pretty much all the bands off that one aerial. When I used to have a half-size G5RV in Surrey, and so I had a dipole for 80 metres, and the half-size G5RV would give me all the other bands, including the walk bands. It worked extremely well on 17 metres, 18 megs. It worked extremely well on there. Some very good contacts. And then when we went out to Cyprus, I took a half-size G5RV with me, and I used that very effectively on 40 and again 17 metres. And that's a very good contacts around the world. So there we are. Anyway, as you say, Bob, we go to these places, throw a bit of wire out the window and see what we can get it to do. And sometimes it's surprising, and sometimes it's very disappointing. And things are not necessarily always repeatable. I think the environment and other installations around you can have a considerable influence on how well the antenna works. But there we are. Anyway, for you, it's worked extremely well today. So let's hope we get similar performance on Sunday. So with that, 9:35 by the clock here. So I'll pass it round. So chew away at the toast, Willie. I don't want a mouthful of that and be spluttering. I'll pass it round to you. G3BYG, G4WYJ for the group.
G4WYJ on the group. G3BYG right back. Yes, all okay, Jim. The toast and marmalade's gone. Jake's had the last bit of crust, and we're all ready to sort of clear up. And okay about the comment on all the aerials. Yes, I think we've all had a good go at the aerials. And I remember, I've been to his talks years ago on his thoughts on the design of the FRV, and I think it was an ingenious arrangement, and it works very well. But as you say, Jim, on 80 metres, it's not quite as good as a dipole at the same height, but it's a good idea, and it works. And if you've, as you say, if you've got a limited space, it gives you all the bands. So there we go, and yeah, I've got, I did have a 3-band HF beam up, but that's in the garage at the moment. The rotator's still on top of the pole, but it came unbolted and sailed down on the ground. So at the moment it's all cleaned up and it's ready to assemble, but it's in the garage at the moment. And I've got to get the pole down to get at the rotator, and I'll probably sort that out because that's probably jammed now. And the 2-metre beam, that's the rotator on that's stuck as well. So there's lots of maintenance to do on these things, isn't there? Right, I've nothing further. So I think everybody, I know Bob signed off, I think. So nothing further from me, Jim. Friday? I shall be on tonight, so I expect with Dave, see if we can hear Dave. And we did work, I think I've worked them both on Wednesday night, but conditions were not all that wonderful. But I worked Jack and Dave on Wednesday night, but they couldn't hear. Right. Nothing further from me then. I'll say 73s, look forward to the next time, and well, push it back to you for any. I don't think you actually signed, Jim. So anything further to tie the ribbons? G3BYG.
Yeah, go ahead. Okay, Jim. I just thought I'd mention, Willie, sorry to break in, but I thought I'd mention before I disappear that Jim, I can send you on a bit of info about this. A couple of pictures. Actually, the pictures on my camera. I took some pictures of the before and after in the kitchen. In case you want to keep the option open for doing the doors. And I must say, it wasn't just doors. We had the worktops on as well. There were 4 separate worktops in the kitchen and utilities, which you had all replaced. So that is. The result was I was very impressed. But I'll drop you a couple of pictures for laughs and a little bit of info about it, and just in case you're interested, I've got your email address here, of course, and I've got a computer here. Well, I may not have got all the info, but I've certainly got the means of communicating with you anyway. So you might get something on the internet before Sunday, Jim. So sorry, Willie, I broke in there, but I'll say 7:3 to you both, and look forward to seeing you on Sunday morning. G3BYG in the group, GW3AZ. Nothing clear, but the mobile will go on QRT 7:3.
Yes, okay, Bob, all fine. 73s. Back to you, Jim, if you want to tie the ribbons.
Yeah, okay. Okay, Bob. We're always interested to have a look, and then we can see. So, I look forward to anything Yeah, you want to send. I think a branch of the tree has fallen down and it's pulling the feeder down. I better go out and have a look at that. And anyway, okay on everything else. And yeah, okay, Willie. Well, I'll sign now, and we'll be around on Sunday morning. Barbara was a bit late home on Tuesday, Willie. So by the time we'd finished eating, I quite honestly forgot all about the net. But I was on the club net on Wednesday on VHF, and half a dozen of us on there, and it was quite a good net. But I ducked out of that about 20 to 8, having gone on just after 7. So there we are. Anyway, I look forward to having a few more words on Sunday morning. G3BYG, G4WYJ signing for the group. 73.
Yes, okay, Jim. 73 is Jim, and cheers, Bob. See you on Sunday if you can make it. G3BYG now closing down.
73 is Bob. See you later.
They were both good subjects of a
4 DDX?
Yeah, I think Dennis was there as well. Was that you, Dennis?
Yeah.
Okie dokie, right. If Ron takes it, then to Dennis. Dennis, you pass it over to Roger, R-I-Z, in that order, and then back to John, then me. So, G4DDX in the group, G8WEI.
Okay, good morning everybody from G4DDX. I think there's a tone comes up. I think it tunes first time I come on and then it doesn't come back. So anyway, something's working possibly correctly. Anyway, what a lovely day. Not raining, snowing or windy. Had a nice walk yesterday, 5 miles, no problems. I really enjoyed it. So unfortunately, the clock, my bedside clock, has failed. The clock itself's failed. The timers all work, and I woke up at 0057 this morning. I couldn't imagine why. The next time I woke up, it was 8:15. It didn't tell me that, but it was 8:15, and there's really brilliant light. So I must say it's at least 50 years old. It's a Roberts one. It served its purpose very well, and it's a radio clock. But it looks like if I can't do anything with it, I've got to buy a new one. After the rig fault as well, that's number 2, and I hope the third one isn't my washing machine, or even me, who knows. So there's one to come, so I'll probably tell you about when it comes. But otherwise, it's nice to hear you all this morning. George, you're 20 over 9, but you did go down to 9 plus 5 or such like on that last over. And everybody else is good copy, of course. No point in giving any reports there. And being Friday, Roger, you are due to come this morning. Can you confirm the time? I've forgotten what time it was. To suit you, so nothing else on. So it's over to you, Dennis. M0RLR in the group, G4DDX.
Yeah, many thanks, G4DDX, and good morning to you all. I hope, George, you can hear me, if not my modulation, at least you can copy it. Here's up to coming up there again. Every day I wake up like this now. Yeah, sun's just coming out here, so it looks like it's going to be a nice day. And somebody's coming over to take me out for lunch today, that'd be nice. Going to the White Horse, is it, at Ireland. Used to be good. We'll see what it's like now. Yesterday I went to the Green Man. Yeah, I haven't done much. I did a few tests with Brian. He
down in the noise, noise 6, 7, 8. But that was these days. But you want to
It's only 20 dB over 9 actually, so back to you, M0WDE in the group.
M0WDE, M3FEV, yeah, no, got a pretty low noise level here, Eddie, of probably about an S3 or a 4. So we can hear John there, the station in Staffordshire there. So, yeah, running a 242 foot long doublet in a straight line at 40 foot high, Eddie, this IC7300. See if John can hear you. You can hear anything from this other station there, John? A Golf 3 Tango Charlie Yankee, Mike 3 Fox. At all, yeah. John's struggling with you a little bit there, Eddie, as well. You know, I think it's just the noise levels that you both got. You know, if they weren't there, you'd probably hear each other. Eddie, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm sure you're right there. I'll just check I've got your call. I won't hold you, I'll make it finer, but just check I've got your call right. Mike 3 Foxtrot Victor, is that right? Now, I haven't got a name for you, by the way. Come back to you.
Yes, you've got the call sign correct. So the name is David or Dave, whichever you prefer. Delta Alpha Victor Indy Delta guy.
Yeah, okay, David, many thanks for that. I'm sorry about barging in and not having done that, not being able to talk to your other station. Give him my apologies. And as I say, you're a very good signal. You're sort of about 9, so enjoy the rest of the day. Many thanks for the report. M3FVV, M0WDE, now clear. 73.
Yeah, okay there, Eddie, no problem at all. All the best 7-3s, and thanks for the QSO, Eddie. We'll catch you first.
So you didn't need 2 bits of string there. You could have saved yourself 2 tin cans and a length of string. And yeah, these are made by Hasbro Toys, so you know, fairly well. I suppose it's a decent make. On the back it says CE mark, great big CE mark, 0359. It says CE 0359. When I've typed that in, it's the transceiver at all. I'm guessing I'm guessing it is FM, but I've already had them apart. First I did was take the backs off, check the batteries, and then I take those 3 screws inside the frequency is, and it's got at least 1 transistor and a few capacitors on the one side, and 4 coils called mini coils. And then when you take the board out, involving more unscrewing, it's got several ICs, and including one which has got quite a number of pins, not just 3 or 4 pins. It's amazing the technology. I think they're about 30 quid normally, because we also bought some already, so I consider it a bit of a bargain. But if you want toys and things for you know, I mean, you can't beat charity shops and boot fairs. I've picked up 1 or 2 good things over the years, also for my hobbies, because very often people don't know what they are, and they let them go for silly prices. Hence the 20p for these things. At least 50p, I should think. They were worth at least 50p each. But there we go. I also managed to find I shouldn't really say this on the air, but a pair of Barber trousers, very nice ones, sort of what you call them, slacks, complete with the legs inside, brand new. And I paid 8 quid for them. You can look at what they cost online if you want. And yeah, there are some bargains to be found, but yeah, I don't sort of habitually go into them. I know some people who do, and they have a lot of fun doing it. And sometimes we'll give the girls, the grandchildren, some money, and then let them loose. And it's amazing, they have a great time, especially on the boot fair. And usually come home with all sorts of rubbish, as you say. But you have to be prepared to understand that it's 99% rubbish and maybe 1%, and it's. I think, and when I go down next week, I shall find an IC7300 and pay £5 for it. G0GSR MW0GYV.
Well, you never know, Peter, do you? Yeah, if one of these guys wearing a hoodie has done a robbery and stolen one, he doesn't quite know what it is. He might unload it somewhere in the back of a car park or something for 20p. You never know, do you? We had some stuff stolen, some test gear stolen out of the back of a Land Rover years ago, and it was worth an absolute fortune. It was a spectrum analyzer, Hewlett Packard spectrum analyzer with a tracking generator, and the police actually found it. It would have been thrown over a wall. The guy had nicked it, not really knowing what it is, and nobody recognised it or knew what it was, so he just threw it away. So we actually got it back. It wasn't really badly damaged or anything, so I think we were quite lucky there. But we had, I had 27 meg walkie-talkies many years ago. It was in the days before the UK CB scene had actually happened. When dinosaurs roamed the earth, and didn't know they were illegal or anything. Nobody was bothered those days, and I had two of them, and I talked to my mates with them, and they were okay. But they were very simple devices, Peter. Yours sounds much more complicated. These were just very simple, super regenerative receivers. And AM, of course, which CB was AM in those days. It had to be AM. But I had some good fun with those. And Dave, I didn't take them apart and break them. Well, not for a good few years anyway. They seemed to work all right, but extremely limited range, I remember. Once you got about 10 or 15, 20 yards away, that was about it. So extremely low power. M0SPZ with MW0GYV from G0GSR.
Yeah, Roger, G0GSR with MW0GYV, M0SPZ returning. Yes, I think originally when on Christmas morning when my sister and I played with them, I think they only worked to the top of the garden. I don't think the range was particularly bad, or particularly good. But as I say, on Boxing Day, run out of things to do, so I thought, I know what I'll do. I'll take those walkie-talkies apart, have a look inside them. Big mistake. I don't quite know, Peter, how you can talk and listen at the same time on one bit of string with just one can at either end, because the can is either in front of your mouth or in front or by your ear. I don't quite know how you can do that, but I guess the problem with bits of string and cans is you can usually hear the other person talking anyhow without the bit of string, because you're not usually that far. Maybe that's what you meant. Okay, about the barber trousers, I take it they're the same type of thing that you get barber coat, don't you? These country folk wear them. But I don't know about you, but I always worry that somebody might have died in those trousers, Peter. They might, and also they might have had some sort of social disease. I don't think I've... Oh, yes, I did. When my first pair of long trousers were hand-me-down trousers from my cousin Kerry, and my mum got them and altered the length, and that's about the only piece of clothing that I've ever had that has been that hasn't been perfumed, that I haven't bought new. So my first pair of long trousers, and I still didn't feel comfortable in them even then, even though I knew my cousin Kerry was a good, clean lad, and nobody had died in them. I don't know whether you saw the Victor Meldrew episode where he was after a big pair of shoes, and he went round, he said, he went round his house, and the woman said, oh yes, my husband's died recently, and the shoes are no longer required. And when he walked in the living room, her husband was still sitting in a chair with the shoes on. I don't know whether you remember that episode or not. That was whenever somebody talks about second-hand clothing, that always comes to mind. Right, so back to you then, Peter. MW0GYV in the group M0SPZ.
I don't think I think we were away when a lot of these episodes were on, Dave. I don't think we were around, but I just had it wonderful picture in my mind. So great, yeah. Well, I think there's a lot of silly people about. To be honest, there's a lot of stuff that's these transceivers. By the way, they have a little date code on the boards 2014, so they're not that old. So I don't know why they've ended up in a charity shop. And of course, Barber, the factory used to be down the road from us, not very far away, where they made a lot of their stuff. And they made a lot of these wax jackets and things like that, as you say. But for the country folk. And I believe the offices are still fairly local down here. But they now, I think they make them, where they can get them from cheaper, or wherever that is. And the trousers actually were made in Tunisia, so relatively recently. But they're quite nice, they're quite smart. And you can tell, I can tell normally if the clothes have been washed or not. Don't smell or anything, and there's no Werther's originals in the pockets. So there we go. It's a bit of fun, really. What was I going to say? I don't think you'll find sovereigns in the charity shop anymore. I think they're a bit cuter than they used to be. Apparently, you used to be able to find all sorts of antique things and so forth. I did pick up a Hacker radio, one of these old FM AM radios from a junk shop. And again, they didn't know whether it worked or not. So they gave it me for a silly price. And because it was a commercial shop, I was quite happy to give them the money and walk away. And that didn't take a lot of getting going. So there we go, I've got a couple of those. I like the old vintage trannies. It makes a nice sound, that one does. G0, GSR, MW0, GYV.
Okay, Peter, that's a good find, wasn't it? Yeah, a friend of mine down near the town has got a good collection of old transistor radios, the Roberts and the Hackers and things like that, which he's restored. I think all of them work. So it's quite a collection. I never used to watch the Tremelthrough thing, Dave. I never used to like the bloke, to be honest. I can see the humour in it looking back now, but just at the time, it's just one of those things that I didn't watch. And I don't see anything wrong with hand-me-down clothes and things as long as they're being washed. I never used to have them as a kid because I was the eldest. There was only two of us anyway, but my brother got the hand-me-downs, not me, so I invariably had the new stuff. So. But those radios are a bit of a mystery, aren't they, Peter? I can't see them being illegal, can they? If there's a toy company that is selling them, and I've never heard of a license-free allocation on 162.740. I would have thought they'd be on the PMR 446. I know there used to be some stuff on 49 megs at one time, but I don't think they were strictly legal. Although that was the band used for cordless telephones, wasn't it? The old-fashioned analog cordless telephones used to work on 49 megs and I think 1.6 megs to duplex, medium wave to 49 megs. What a system that was. I had one of those once, and they thought it worked all right at the time before the digital ones became popular. Back to you, Dave. M0SPZ with MW0GYV from G0GSR.
Yeah, Roger, G0GSR in the group, M0SPZ returning, I think, for a final. You'll have to look up Ofcom, Peter, and find out what the latest allocations are for these license-free transmissions. I forget what they call it. They don't call it license-free, do they? Public frequencies or something. I think there's several. There's obviously what we do. We're licensed, and I believe CBers. I believe they have to have something. I don't think you can just get a CB and start using it. I think you have to notify somebody. I've never looked into it actually, but I think from recollecting a long time ago that you have to notify somebody you've got one. But maybe that's different now, I don't know. And then the final one is the walkie-talkie stuff where you don't have to tell anybody because they're weakened and won't upset anybody. But I don't know what frequencies they are. You can download the whole thing from Ofcom. I did it a few years ago. The whole, every sort of the whole of the spectrum, what's allocated to whom, and who's using what, and where you can go. So it might be interesting for you to download that. Okay, good chat again. Thanks for everybody joining. Very good morning to John. Thanks for joining us, John. Cheerio to Frank and cheerio to Peter. MW0, and cheerio to Daz. Very good morning to you. Good evening, Daz. Nice to see you there. And David in Leeds. And who else have we got? Kev. Good to see you there, Kev. And anybody else that's listening on the web. Mike 0 Sierra Bravo Zulu, off and clear. Cheers. Bye-bye.
Yeah, I'll say bye-bye as well. Thanks for the chat. And, well, I don't know. Frank did tell the frequency of the PMR radios, but as I say, the crystal is 40.685. I just double that, 81, and then 122, and then 162.740. That's 4 times. So, and I looked for it. I can't pick up 81. But I couldn't find any signal on 122, but I can find it on 162.740. And the range is about, it's at least 30-40 metres, I know that, but I've checked it out. But it really won't play ball with me. Let me walk up the road with it. With my little, it's a transformer, 2 transformers. There we go. And Victor Meldrew, yeah, the one I did see, which I found hilarious, was when he picked up the dog as a telephone, the doggy transceiver. And I like messing around with old transistor radios because they're all basically the same circuit and they're easy to work on, aren't they? I quite like them, the old Superettes. Anyway, nice chatting this morning, and I hope your wife has success. No problems with the car today, Frank. G0GSR MW0 GYB.
Well, she's gone, Peter, and she hasn't come back or rung me, at least as far as I know. I had the headphones, so maybe I wouldn't hear it anyway. To the output frequency, if it's got complex circuitry in it, like a synthesizer, it could be that crystal is the reference frequency for the synthesizer. So you may hear the harmonics of that, certainly, but the output frequency could be very well different from multiples of that. It could very well be PMR 446. I just had a quick Google on the license free, and 446 was the only thing that came up. So I don't know whether there are others, but that's certainly a possibility. It's a reference oscillator for a synthesizer. Anyway, cheers to everybody. Thanks for the contact, and enjoy the rest of the day. Bit of sunshine here at the moment. Cheers for now from G0GSR.
446 what, Frank?
Well, it's called PMR 446, Peter. I don't know the exact frequency, but there must be a number of channels available around 446 megahertz.
Okay, well, I can pick that up, so I'll have a play with that. They've got little stubby antenna, little rubber duckies on them, about 2 inches long.
Quarter wave of 400 megs, maybe?
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, I think it's unlikely to be on 162 megs. That's certainly licensed PMR frequency, Peter.
Okay, well, I just tuned into that. I could actually hear it, but I have to hold them fairly close to get but I can't hear any audio whatsoever. So it may well just be the oscillator.
Yeah, I think it's a good theory, Peter. Anyway, cheers for now, and enjoy the rest of the day from G0GSR.
10-3 chap, interesting QSO. By the way, Peter, was that hacker one of the ones that needed 2 rather awkward batteries?
It did, but it's now running on lithium batteries.
Well, that's the only trouble with hackers. Yeah, it was all really nice quality radios at times, but they needed things like 2 PP7s or something like that.
Was it 2 PP9s it was, but I wasn't going to buy those. I put some lithium batteries in it, and it works great. Absolutely wonderful. And the lithium batteries only need charging about once a year.
Yeah, no, they'd be ideal in those circumstances, wouldn't they? But that was the downside, I could imagine. They always look nice when you recovered them at a jumble sale, but then you realise you'd have to spend a fortune on batteries. But anyway, 7-3 to you all, and take a very interesting listen while I try to work out why I'm locked out of a bank account. Bye for now.
Did you find any interesting savings, John?
Well, it depends what you mean. Can you? What do you mean, Peter?
7%.
So, look, conditions aren't too good this morning. Again, please.
No, know, did you find any reasonable interest rate savings, or was it just rubbish?
It depends what you mean by rubbish, really, Peter. I mean, the challenge rate at the moment for savings seems to be national savings at 2.15 or 2.20. That's probably the best rate going at the moment for something which is not totally locked up.
Okay, I'll have to look into that. I've got some nationals, well, I've got quite a few national savings premium bonds, but there we go. Now we've got one which is maturing, and we need to find a new home for it. So I've got a man coming next week, so we shall see.
Well, if you're just into savings, don't expect too much. I mean, there are organisations offering 2 point something, but usually it's for a 5-year lockup, whereas the new bonds that NS&I came out with, I think they came out with them in December. They're 3 years, but on the other hand, you can get at the money for, or say they're 1 year or 3 years. The 3-year product's the obvious one to go through, because whilst there is a penalty in both cases of the equivalent of 3 months interest, you earn so much interest in the 3-year one that it's worth just holding it for a year and cashing it. You actually end up with more money than if you bought the 1-year bond and seen the term out. But I can't believe they'll be long on the market. Otherwise, it's if you don't want to get into risk, if you don't want to get into equities, then it's all quite glum at the moment, Peter. Particularly as the RPI is over 4%.
Well, the RPI hardly, it doesn't really reflect to us, or doesn't this index, because we have different purchasing habits to the ones that they use. Anyway, that's all right. Thanks very much. I'll look into that and take it from there. Cheers, John. Thank you very much. MW0GYV.
Oh, I've got some respect for the RPI, particularly at the moment when the thing that's really driving inflation are retail shop prices, not services quite so much now, but the real driver has been the bound up in shop, in supermarket prices, which surely you've noticed, Peter.
Oh yeah, but we buy lots of. We don't buy many ready-made meals, and we tend not to buy proprietary stuff that much. We do a lot of home cooking and so forth. And to be honest, Aldi's and Lidl's flour the same price as it was last year or the year before, and it's always been less expensive than the mainstream supermarkets. So, in that respect, I'm fairly astute. So when my wife goes to buy buy this big one, and you end up paying more per kilo than you do by buying small ones. Well, I don't let her do things like that.
Yeah, well, it's certainly recently we've had a couple of long-term same things, and we've stuffed them in NS&I. They have this 100% safe slogan, which I suppose means if they weren't, then an awful lot of other things would also be wrong in society. So we'd all be eking out our last few weeks on Earth or something like that. But anyway, that's seems to be the circumstances at the moment. But as I say, I'm trying to line up a debit on my account to pay HRC before the end of the month, but my bank is refusing to let me in. It's just saying you have a problem with your security number, and I can't tell what it is because it's not even giving me the opportunity to type it in. This is a bit arse about face. You normally get into trouble after you type the number, not before you typed any number at all. So, oh dear, it does take software to foul things up, doesn't it? G3VZF.
Yeah, it does. Anyway, yeah, I wish you success with that. Cheers, John. Thank you.
Bye for now, Peter.
As cold as it has been, but there we are. But anyway, I had a nice little contact there with Chris in Coventry on 1 watt. That was nice. And we were able to have a QSO with him on 1 watt there. Good stuff. Anyway, I think this morning with you too. M0OIC.
Golf Whiskey 4, Papa Uniform Charlie, Papa Zero, Oscar Italy Charlie. Yes, very good morning. That well and enjoying reasonable weather as the weekend comes in closer than ever. And yes, it's similar here, grey and overcast. Certainly not as it was forecast. According to the forecast, we should have had a nice sunny day today, and I was going to go to Oxford Reservoir, but there you go, I had enough yesterday. I managed to get out and around the Attenborough Nature Reserve. Not a lot about. I've got a few photographs of swans and various other water birds around them, which was quite nice. And quite a few of a robin and a dunnock, and robin, dunnock, fluted and the greater. And I think that's the majority of the photographs I've got. I've got a lot of those, but I've been selective and I've uploaded a few to YouTube, etc., etc. So that was another play-in with the new tour course, so that's all working well. Was the G9, DC G9 with the 100 to 400 lens attached all the time, and I use it at wide open all the time. I just don't get that lack of sensitivity. This is the bird is sitting out. You see the bird more so than the very well. Quality, really, really good wide open on that Leica lens. So very pleasant with how it went. And the thing about it, in the body and the big lens. In the backpack, I had the macro lens, the stand lens, a micron, a waterproof cover, and a few other bits and pieces, batteries, etc., etc. And I didn't really know I had it with me, whereas with the heavy kit, with the big Tamron lens and the 7D Mark II, I would have been crippled by the time I got home, but it was lovely. Just a nice, comfortable walkabout with a light pack on my back and a nice lightish, lightish, I say, camera and lens in front of me. So very pleased with the change of the weight, especially there. So there you go. Signal report, you're between 5 and 7 and 5 and 8. I haven't got the computer running yet, so it's all direct at the moment. I have got the computer, but I'm on a different request to Pat, GW3KJW, our awards manager for MMOD, for a special event going in AFF number for July. I'm running a special event session from 25th of July for 25th of June for 28 days. Just received confirmation from Ofcom, so I can now start planning things and just applying for a day double F number from Pat. Keep myself busy for 28 days. Burbling on Ray. GW4PUC for Mike Zero ORC.
M0 all signals, yeah, well, I got trouble getting mine organised every morning, but there we are. We look forward to that, and all grist to the mill, isn't it? But yeah, certainly, you're out and about with that new camera there. Good stuff, giving it a good run in there. I suppose the weight difference is phenomenal, isn't it? And I got this big one now, and that'll be me for a long while, I suppose. I must get out now this summer, and the spring and summer to do that's the plan anyway. I said the bird sanctuary down here, the wetlands trust is not far. It's 5 minutes drive down the road, and that's it. Literally 5 minutes. So there's no excuse really. No excuse. Let's see if there's anybody else around. Anyway, CQ all signals. CQ all signals. CQ all signals. Golf Whiskey 4, Papa Uniform Charlie, calling CQ all signals. I'm listening. Oh, nothing heard. Well, yeah. Tonight, for the first time in a long time, 7 years actually, we went to see Dunkirk, the new Dunkirk film, and I must admit, it was very, very entertaining, shall we say, but very realistic compared to most films, war films, and I said it's a long time since we've been to cinema, and the quality of the picture was phenomenal. thought, because, you know, it's very noisy for us. We don't like that much sound normally, but of course it is that sort of film, isn't it? You expect it, if you went realism, it's going to be loud, noisy. But I certainly came out of there going, wow, you know, it's quite a film, that. So the next one we went to see, now we're starting to go regularly now, we think. So next one will be Churchill. That's supposed to be very good as well, isn't it? So, well, it's not... That's the next one on the list now then. Anyway, there we are. Back to you, M0OIC GW4. Do you see that?
Ollie, thanks, Giro, Oscar. They're all signals. Yes, many thanks indeed. Yes, I've been looking at the write-ups on Dunkirk and Churchill. They both look very, very interesting. So thanks indeed for the positive report on Dunkirk. I'll get the DVD ordered so we can once that one is available. I've got one DVD on order. It's been on order for quite a while through Amazon. It should be here about the 5th, between the 5th and the 12th of February, and that's the 2049 Blade Runner. I thoroughly enjoyed the original Blade Runner, of course, with the Harrison Ford and Mr. Hauer and Sean Young. Very, very enjoyable. I watched it over and over. 39 is probably going to be a wee bit disappointment because, of course, Sean Young's not there, and of course they've all moved on a bit. It's got a couple of colour jumps landing in the garden. And yes, so it's getting variable reports, 2049 Blade Runner. I think the main criticism is too long. It's about 3 hours long or something, and it tends to be a wee bit labouring towards the end. But let's see what it's like. Of course, they've got all the people all the time, so hopefully I'm one of those. So looking forward to that arriving. Yes, I enjoy the proper noise from the cinema. I don't go to cinemas very often these days. I've been for some time, but excuse me, I've had my own home cinema in houses. As we've moved around, it's always gone with me, and of course I've built on it over the air. So at the moment we've got a nice 7-speaker system in the lounge, which isn't over large, but we've got a large 55-inch TV in there, which we've got an OLED Belinda, but unfortunately she cannot see it now. She will allow me to watch it anyway, but we've got the 7-speaker sound there. The neighbours don't complain too loudly from the noise, so I look forward to maybe listening to some Kirk around the area as well. So we'll see how that goes. But thanks indeed for the positive report. And it's always nice when it speaks to someone who's actually seen it. So there you go. Radio-wise, I've done very was absent from my net on Tuesday. Well, I'll be absent from my net next Tuesday as well, not Belinda this time. This is my annual one, so I couldn't move it because that was the only time the nurse could see me, so I will be absent next Tuesday, and I think that's just for quite some time. Linda sees the ophthalmologist, or the surgeon who wanted to do the operation, and she sees him on the 26th of February. That's 6 weeks since she had the operation, to see how things have gone. At the moment, he did have a see her on Tuesday, that's why I was and of course that's all confirmed as the operation, the laser surgery. What a the measurement, the glaucoma pressure, it's measured in millimeters Hg, so many millimeters high ground in pressure, and the UnI and everyone else should be between 12 and 21. Those whipped in urgently to hospital, hers was 53, which of course it even sounds high, which it was, and it's now down to 21, so 15 rather. So the surgeon's very, very happy with the pressure of 15, but of course there's something that's got to be checked in the future. So at the moment it's planned that she goes there to see how things are progressing. So I hope it will be okay. Sadly, Linda still cannot see though, right? She's not really blind in the inside anyway. And the right eye, she's got blurred vision. So while she can see shapes and lights and things, that's not good enough to watch the television. So we've got the talking books on our Kindle, so she just sits there listening to their various things around and dives. Whether I want to or not high, but there you go. Even the cats are getting used to it. GW4PUC from Mike Zero OIC.
M0 OIC GW4PUC. Okay, Brian. Well, yeah, I'm really sorry about Linda's eyes there, mate. It's obviously not good. It's dreadful, you know, if you're losing your sight, and it's such an important thing. And I don't know. Anyway, say hello for me anyway, and wish her well. But it's an awful thing, and we can only hope that things might improve somehow. I don't know. But anyway, yeah, I said we haven't been to the cinema for a long time, but we decided to go to this area that it didn't open. You know, it's everything opened about a few years ago now, but you know, within the last 10 years, I suppose. And we've never been to it, but anyway, it's a lovely, brand new, clean, comfortable, nice, comfortable seats with plenty of leg room, you know, and a tremendous sound system. I have to say, it's really impressive. Our first visit there, but they have a scheme there for OAPs. It's £3 on I think it's a Thursday, is it a Monday and a Thursday, something like that maybe, and it's definitely a Thursday, and it's just £3 each to go in, and you can have a cup of coffee and a biscuit as well thrown in. We didn't get that actually, but we you know, £3 a shot these days is very cheap, so we made use of that. I think it's a really good thing. Quite a few people in there as well. But we met somebody we knew, and this woman is there. She said she'd only gone in there because she'd finished work and she was going to catch a bus home, but she missed the bus, so she went to the cinema instead. But it's nice. I quite enjoyed that. So we definitely go. As I say, the Blade Runner, yeah, I saw the first one. I didn't see any more of it, but it's not Mary's cup of tea, so we don't really watch it. I would love it, but yeah, but 3 hours, that's a long one, isn't it? Gosh, that's a long time to sit down there. But there we are. It's got to be good then, isn't it? And yeah, Dunkirk, I think somebody said that it's best to see it in the cinema because it's such a wide you know, expanse and the effects and that. Big screen, I suppose that's okay. We haven't got anything approaching that, but 32 I think we've got. But on the big screen it's very, very impressive, I can tell you. But the sound, you know, every time somebody a bullet or a you know, it's there. You know, you're actually in the middle of it. It's phenomenal. So it was quite an experience for us. Anyway, there we are. Anyway, anybody else around there? CQ, roll signal, CQ, roll signal. Golf Whiskey for Papa, Uniform Charlie. Calling CQ roll signals. No, nothing there. Any roll signals? No, nothing heard, eh? It's slow this morning, Brian, mate. Anyway, back to you. M0 OIC GW4PUC there.
Golf Whiskey 4, Papa Uniform Charlie from Mike Zero Oscar India Charlie. Yes, many thanks to you, Ray. Well, it certainly sounds good, the Dunkirk, and I agree with you. On a big wide screen in the cinema, but 55-inch in a relatively small lounge area, that's enough for us at the moment. And but £3. That's a lot cheaper than interesting in this area for Dunkirk. So well done on the £3 including coffee and biscuits. Good grief, you couldn't make it up really, Ray. So well done for that, and glad that you've actually got that facility, of course. And yes, they're very quiet on the band this morning. One of the reasons why when I come in on a Friday, I try not to use Hack Green if I can, on the off chance that hopefully Golf Bravo 3 Romeo Sierra from the national radio sector. I haven't heard it yet, of course. And of course, 90 points, Ray. So I have the computer there to make sure that I'm not reading and I'm hearing him direct as I was with you earlier on at 5758. I've got it on now because Simba the cat shouts at me when I've got the rig on normally. So when I put it into Stafford at the moment, if I put it into Stafford, the background noise isn't quite so bad as we've got here. So Simba doesn't shout at me quite so much. But at the moment, he's actually sat on the kitchen table. He's now, it's capital like you, but he wondered for the rest of their lives. Linda, in a moment of weakness, I think it was last week or the week before, bought them back these dreamies, I think they called the advert. You see this cat jumping through a wall just for his dreamy. Well, I can believe it because Simba now jumps, which of course was clear. But he's actually sat there waiting patiently for Linda to rattle his bag of breeze. She only gives him two, or she gives him any more than two. He's waiting patiently, looking at me, talking, waiting for his dreamies, and he normally gets two at night before we go to bed as well. So talk about pouring our cat. Yes, he did. Just that he couldn't. He enjoys prawns, and whenever we've got prawns, I enjoy my prawn curries. I'm always going to put two to one side for Simba. Put one to one side, Chester, he just sniffs it and walks on, so Simba will eat that one. Fresh chicken, not fresh chicken, cooked chicken yesterday. Quality chicken, of course, for the cat. Of course, Simba got stuck straight in, just thoroughly enjoyed every bite of it. Chester smells it, doesn't care, so Chester's not quite so pushy. He is rubbish, and he doesn't like prawns or expensive chicken, so at least he doesn't cost me an arm and a leg, just step back, so there you go. I'm going to get Simba to the bed. He had his teeth scraped, cleaned out last year, which got a clear bill of health. I'll take him to the vet for a teeth inspection. So that might be the reason why I get there, see if they can find something else to charge you money for. But they were good. Since we brought the canary back from Cyprus, when we drove back from Cyprus, we brought the canary back with us. That was in 1980. And of course, we had a 35-day quarantine at home. And just about every year, of course, when I left go, we now own the veterinary practice by my partner. And he had to come and actually fix the cage and check the bird, make sure it was free of Newcastle disease, which it was. And checked it at the beginning of the 35 days, at the end of 35 days, it cost about £18 or something, which of course in 1980 was a bit of money. So we've been with them ever since, so we trust them. Everything to be good to they do look after our cats, they've always looked after all of our cats, and my boxer dog, sadly only was there for 5.5 years. They checked him when I got him and put him to sleep when we lost him, so there we go. And then Linda's reminded me of her dog as well, so there you go. Linda's dog as well. I'm in trouble as usual, Ray, but there you go. Anyway, so that's it, but when I finish with that, I pick up my letter to my the godfather was thinking about that Potter. And when I'm done, I'll and that's something I'm looking forward to. I want to be running it on CW, PSK, it's on 125 and 62, RBCY, and SD8. FTN will be doing that mainly. I think I'll even find the microphone and be doing some SSD. So I'm looking forward to 28 days of that. Not sure about QSL cards yet, because I did find when I ran the Golf Bravo by Charlie, most stations worked outside of the signals. I said, EQSL, no cards required. So I had a lot of cards there, which had I followed their instructions, I'd have probably only set up it. So I already have to buy 1,000 to pay the same for 1,000 or 100. So I thought, no, I'm going to get it. Maybe tomorrow GB was so very happy about that, but for this year, this time I'm saying I'll wait until after I finish to see whether it's worth getting any cards printed out. If there's only a few, I'll do them myself. So I've got some photographs already from the ladies working in the bomb place in Chilwell, the memorial, which was outside my office when I worked in Chilwell, and of course the graveyard where the unidentified bodies were buried. I think 120 of them so it's going to be a nil return again for QSL cards for the RS QSL Bureau. Thankfully, I'm not getting paid on results, so that's all hard. But just shows you how things are studying the RSGB. And they were saying that at one stage they used to get the postman coming up with the cell cards every small handfuls, as do I. So I don't even get a small handful anymore. But things have changed, Ray. QSL cards score, and of course people don't appear to be collecting them so much. But we keep it going as long as the members require it. GW4PUC from my Giro OIC. Hopefully somebody's there waiting to call and to shut me up, Ray. Go ahead.
M0IC GW4PUC. Okay, Brian, you never know. It might be somebody there now. Yeah, QSL cards, they don't get as many now. Well, I got nothing for you here waiting. I cleared my RSGB ones last week as well. I sent those off, so I'm completely clear with QSL cards. I like my cards. That's interesting. Some of the good ones are really lovely keepsakes, and I always like to receive them, and I will always send them. There we are. That's one of those things. You didn't make him fly all that way, did you? I've heard of that before. Dog cats maybe not canaries. Member of the family, man. And I know what you mean about the dreamies. Mary buys dreamies for our cats, and one of them in particular, and she absolutely loves them. Can't get enough of them. So yeah, I know what you mean. And the advert of them busting through the wall seems to be quite truthful, There we are. Seen in the log a few times. Last year was the last one. 3rd of November last year, and it was Merv. But looking at my computer log, I've just there's something amiss here. I've got him in my computer log with Merv there, but no RS number. So I'm not sure if you had one then, but anyway, definitely Merv. I remember the QSO vaguely. But strange enough, I went to check whether I'd missed putting the RS number on the computer log, and so I checked my paper log, and I've got no entry for it there at all, so I don't know how I missed that. We shall have to have a look at that later on and see, maybe put a little next to it, because I like to keep my back there. But I've got them a couple of times, once in 2013, 2014 and 2017, so hopefully now if you've got an RS number, I'll get them again now this month and get a proper RS number off him. There we are. The £3 entry to the cinema is excellent, isn't it? It's not every day. I think it's twice a week normally, and I thought about it for a while, but we never got round to it. But yeah, it's excellent, isn't it? I'm not sure the full price of cinema tickets here now. It's been a long time since we've been, but it's got to be certainly double that, I would think. But there we are. At the same time, we had a lot of rebuilding went up in town a few years ago, and there was a new cinema and a new theatre. So the theatre is very, very good as well, apparently. We're cracking theatre, apparently, comfortable and good acoustics, and they put out some good shows. So we're going to start. We don't go out a lot, but we're going to start doing it now. So get out a bit more. Well, we still can, isn't it? So yeah. But anyway, the sun is shining now. The sky is cleared up. Actually, I'm looking out now, and it's blue sky. Oof. Hey, marvelous. Sun is shining on my head there. So looking pretty good at the moment. Right, let's see if there's anybody else around. CQ, roll signals. CQ, roll signals. CQ, roll signals. Golf Whiskey 4, Papa Uniform Charlie, calling CQ, roll signals. I'm listening. Right, there is somebody else out there. GI4JTF. Good morning, Harry. 10:34. All right. I Hi. There's only Brian and myself here, Harry. It's very quiet this morning, so I'm glad you turned up, mate. How's things over there in Hollywood? GI4JTF, GW4PUCR.
GW4PUCR, morning Ray, 1 and 5 and 8, morning Brian, 1 and 5 and 4 direct, comment, morning to you, direct, and Stafford. I noticed this morning there's a big notice on that read that we're trying to find out the reason for the audio dropout. So, somewhere's going for the cloud. The weather station is decided to switch off. This weather station, but solar powered, and I noticed during the winter that if it doesn't have enough sunshine, the battery don't reading in the house. That's the way it is. GW4PUC,
ATF, GW4PUC, you are okay, Harry. First of all, reports probably about 3x3 direct, but more like 5x7 via the Stafford SDR, so no problem, copying okay. I could work you direct, so no problem there, but it's a lot easier via Stafford. And yeah, I hear the round of the Baskervilles in the background there, giving you a hard time, is he? No dogs you send, just cats. And, we got a problem with one when they started tearing lots of the wallpaper on the hall, so we've got to try and sort something out there. Little bugger, but I don't know what to do about it. But I'll have to do some repapering, that's for sure. Anyway, so anyways, as I said, only the three of us on there. It's very slow this morning, but there we are. That's the way it goes, isn't it? Anyway, anybody else around? CQ Royal Signal, CQ Royal Signal, CQ Royal Signals, Golf Whiskey 4 Papa Unit Signals, I'm listening. Oh, G4GDWM God. Is it G4? Anyway, we'll catch you guys. Nice to catch you because we've been a bit lonely so far this morning. So the first one I heard anyway was Gordon, G4AWJ, GW4PUC,
Tron G4AWJ. Good morning, Ray. Usual hurried switch on here. And not got the computer accessor yet. So direct anyway, you're 5556, Ray, but there seems to be a little QSB on you. With on the net at the moment. I think I heard Harry handing it back as I switched on. Again, not sure about that. Good morning to all on net. WX in Heathfield here is overcast. It's been raining throughout the night. It's 4 degrees C, and as usual it's been wet and cold. Not very